Welcome back to another Trade Alts technical analysis. In this video, we're going to be going over Digibyte. Let's get to the charts. So here we have Digibyte versus the dollar or USDT. And I'm also going to be going over the Bitcoin pairing for you, just in case anybody here is trading against the Bitcoin pair. But first, we're going to start off. I'm actually going to zoom out to the daily here to kind of see what's going on. And I'm using Bittrex because it has kind of the longest price action that I could find for Digibyte. And that's really what you want to be doing when you're trying to do technical analysis on something. I know Binance listed Digibyte, but it wasn't really that long ago, so I wouldn't be getting any of this previous price action history that I want. So that's why I'm using Bittrex. You see, like, we really came out of this long consolidation here. I mean, this was since May of 2020. A lot of sideways movement all the way up until January, end of January here, before you got this really nice impulsive move up. So not too bad. Right now, you're really in between these two zones, these two key levels. And I'm talking about this weekly SR level, this daily SR level here. And then you also have a weekly and daily that's kind of governing your support region right around here. And then you have a weekly level that's sitting down here, around 3.6 cents, something like that. I wouldn't pay too much attention to what's going on here, although it is like, if you look at this consolidation that we came out of, very relevant. I wouldn't worry about any of these levels that you see down here, obviously until, if you start losing support, then you can kind of keep these in mind, but these are irrelevant for the time being. And I can already see a fib that I want to pull. So there's a couple different points that you could pull this Fibonacci retracement from. You could pick the very low to the swing high up here. That would be totally fine. But for me, I'm more interested in this impulsive move up here. So you can see, like, once we're consolidating, going sideways, you get kind of a little bit of dip right on your macro point of control, and then you have this explosive move upward. So this piece of price action right here, this impulsive move, is what I'm mostly interested in. So if I took a fib from there to your current high, you can see, and this isn't surprising to me at all, like, you see this a lot, but you're sitting right on your golden pocket right here. Actually make this as exact as I possibly can. So you tagged it twice. So you got, again, this is taken from the impulsive move here, the very low, the start of your impulse, all the way up to your current swing high. And if you zoom in, if you did a measurement, right? So you came down, touched your daily. Wow. So yeah, so you got your daily level right here, really close. And then you came back and actually touched your 618. Got another push off, again, another perfect touch of your 618, and then I'm not sure if it moved off from here or not. This is in the same candle, but just from coming down to these regions, I mean, that's a 33% move off of your daily level. If you took it from where you touched right on your 618 up to this high, that's a 42% move. So I mean, these are really, important levels for you to be aware of at all times. I mean, 42% move, if you've taken this trade, like, that's incredible. And it only took a few days. Like, this is less than a week of price action. This one was only 2 days. So you came down major low, 2 days later, major high, 33%. So these levels that I'm giving, really good to be aware of. So kind of what's next, right? So like, this is your massive support right here. It's really this weekly through your 6.6 here. Like, this zone is huge support locally. If this support zone is lost, if you take out, you start closing below your 6.6, then obviously your weekly level is your next area of support. Which also, wow, so your 786, if you can see it, I'll circle it. So your 786 right here, you see how it's lined up perfectly with your weekly level. So this would be another area of support that I would look at. If price did manage to come down and take out your local support that you're sitting on right now, so this region, if you lose this area, weekly level 786, really good confluence there. I like that quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if you did get another bounce here. But to the upside, you kind of have this big void, right? Like you have your key levels up here, you have your key levels here. We could come down here on like a 4 hour or something. You see just really just consolidating sideways range right now, nothing major. Be curious to see where your point of control is for that. It's up here. So this locally, like on even lower time frames, your point of control right here, this is really big resistance. So as long as you're below that, you could continue kind of chopping around here at these levels. But if you reclaim your point of control, then I think you could have it, I wouldn't be surprised to see another move up to this weekly area. And, this is going to obviously, like Bitcoin is going to play in big time to what this is doing for the most part. So if Bitcoin gets a really nice move up, Digibyte USDT pairing wouldn't surprise me to get that another nice move up. Bitcoin takes a hit, it wouldn't surprise me to see you really breaking this structure possibly. But overall, where we sit, you're on really massive support right here. So this isn't, this is not a terrible place to be looking for a trade, to be honest, not financial advice. If you were to come down and revisit these levels again, your invalidation to me is it's really pretty easy. You wouldn't want to see, if you got a wick below these to take out, if they're, a lot of people if they're long, they put their stops below these wicks. So it wouldn't surprise me, if you came out and took out this wick, swing fail pattern, something like that before you got to move up. But really, this is really important support. And again, your secondary support's down here this weekly. And then as far as to the upside, your resistance, this weekly level here at about almost 8 cents, right here in this region. This is, you obviously would need to reclaim this in order to look for continuation higher. But you see if there's anything else that I want to point out. So again, this is the dollar pairing. I think it's, if I had to pick one of the two, like I think people trade dollar pairings more than they do the Bitcoin pairing for some reason. But when I'm trading alts, I really prefer to look at what the Bitcoin pairing is doing, because that's going to help you decide, like, really, should you be in it or not? Because if the altcoins severely underperform your Bitcoin, then in my opinion, like, you should just be trading Bitcoin because you're going to be better off for the most part. But, again, your levels, really important support, secondary support right here. And this is your current resistance. And, we pulled this. Again, I will pull it for you one more time just so you can see it. Kind of your immediate level that you need to reclaim in order to move up and possibly test that weekly is this right here, your point of control, sitting at just under 6 cents. It's just under 6 cents. But this is a really important resistance here locally. If you're able to reclaim this, your value area high is sitting here about 6.1 cents, something like that. If you're able to reclaim these levels, good chance that I think you can at least come up and push, test this weekly. So I will do another fib pull from here. And this is see if I can, come on now. There we go. See if anything lines up. Nothing really lines up. So here's your golden pocket coming, if you're coming back up this direction. So this would likely be a resistance area for you to keep in mind. Nothing really lines up that I can see, and I can pull, not to really confuse you. This is more just me kind of looking at the chart. So your value area low in with your golden pocket, and your value area low of this price action right here. Nothing lines up like super well, but nonetheless, interesting level to be aware of. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you did pop back up here initially. Like, this is likely to be a resistance. But this is the tether pairing. So kind of, again, where do I see it now? You're on big support. This level, really important to hold. As long as you're above it, I honestly think like I wouldn't surprise me if we came back up and, tested around this region, maybe even your weekly. But that's kind of what I would be looking for right now on Digibyte. I think this is a really nice support zone for the time being. Let's go over to the Bitcoin pairing. I think this is a little bit more interesting in the sense of levels wise, and it has a lot more price action. So if you go out to a monthly, Honestly, that's actually going to be really hard to see because of this one candle here. So I can but anyway, it goes all the way back to 2014. So the last chart only had price action history to the 2018. So this one you have quite a bit more price action to work with. But you can see like there's quarterly levels. Like there are levels that populate that a lot of altcoins really don't have because most of them are so new. But Digibyte kind of being one of those older alts that have been around for a while, you actually have really higher time frame levels that populate, which is really pretty cool. And you can see like they're pretty well respected. So you had your quarterly level, you know, somewhere around here. Price moved down, came back up. Your macro value area high quarterly level, rejected from there, and then you got a really big move down. Formed a new quarterly level. Well, I guess quarterly level here as well. But support, come up, get rejected by this one. Support, you lose it, and then big move down, come back up. Look at this. Like resistance. You get above for a bit, come back down, resistance. I mean, this is like, overall, this is pretty impressive. You know, so obviously with price being under it and where we're at, like if you were to come back up here, I would think this is pretty big time resistance. But I like these levels quite a bit. I can already see, so like you see this kind of this sideways price action here. I'm curious. It's a little harder where I would pull this from. Because do I really want to include something like this maybe? So you can, yeah, so here's your point of control for all of this price action. So this is from mid 2019 to, I mean, this is a year-long price action. This is almost like a year-long kind of consolidation that Digibyte had. This is the Bitcoin pairing again. But you had your explosive move up, you know, came back up to these quarterly levels. And there's some other levels in between, but I'm only focusing on the higher time frame levels. And then you got your pullback, and it's really almost right on the money if I was to extend this out just so you can see it. You can see like this is your point of control from like a year's worth of price action. You get your explosive move up, your retracement, and look at price. Like it literally comes right, and wow. So look at this. You even get a perfect test. So this is your down move, right? And this is your down move from all the way up here, comes back down. And where does it bounce from? The point of control of that year-long consolidation. And perfectly, like flawlessly bounces off of that level. Like that's why, you know, again, if you follow me for any length of time, which I think my channel is only about a month old, but for those of you who are in Discord or in Telegram, you know that like I really like to pull ranges and see, because they come back into play a lot of times when you revisit these levels, right? So like this this was a year-long range. You could have been trading this range, you know, from the highs to the lows. Get your explosive move up, and you spend some time above it, not a whole lot of time. And then you get your retracement, and where do you fall? Right back to your point of control of this entire range. Like that is amazing. But yeah, so like this big time support, you get a really nice bounce. I know it looks small, but if you were to, like, that's again a 48% move in the matter, you know, in within a couple of days. What is that? 4 or 5 days, 48% move, just if you knew that this level was here, right? And then before you finally come back down, test it, you can see its resistance. You're kind of playing around on here again, and then you get another explosive move up. So again, it's kind of one of those instances where it's really important that you kind of know your levels and you know where things, you know, if you're able to decipher things a bit and look back and take into account previous price action history to kind of like get a game plan going. That was a really nice trade right there. That kind of was staring at you right there. If you knew that that level was there. And again, same thing. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if this lines up. So the USDT pairing, the dollar pairing, 618. This already looks like a 618 to me. Sure enough, there you go. And you know, honestly, I don't even need to pull this. I could tell you that that was a 618 hit, like that, just by looking at kind of how it was. But you know, came down, right into your golden pocket, got a nice move up. And again, this isn't a matter of a day, right? So if you do a measurement, so just if you had your bid sitting here at your golden pocket, 25% in a day, really nice bounce. So that's like, obviously this level is respected. You haven't, as far as the Bitcoin pairing, come back down to like perfectly tested again, but same thing. And you know, as the dollar pairing, price is going sideways around here, you're sitting on pretty important support. So it's nice to see the Bitcoin chart look pretty much identical. And then, you know, if you lose these levels, then you have a monthly level, you know, then you can kind of start to look and see, you know, as far as the Bitcoin pairing goes, where your next support level is. And it's really like, I mean, it's really probably is down here. It wouldn't surprise me if this level is lost. So especially if you lose this, about 100 sats or so, your next support's probably 85. It's probably your monthly here. Old point of control still would be a really important level to watch. And then you do have a weekly, like you could come back for a full retrace again. And, you know, really like this could be another really nice buy opportunity. But to the upside, again, I'm doing this video just to really give anybody who's interested in Digibyte. I'm just looking to give you critical levels to watch. Okay. So, you know, on short term, low time frames, say about 165 sats, that's a critical resistance that you have for the Bitcoin pairing. I mean, I could draw it out, I guess. It's not really like a perfect level, but this is something that I would say is kind of an important level to the upside, because I gave you your downside, right? So if you lose this level, I would look probably for the full retrace. It wouldn't surprise me. But you know, if it is able to pick up footing off of this level, which to be fair is a pretty big support, this is a pretty important support region, then you know, this is kind of your next level. It's back up at these highs, right? And then from there, you know, again, macro point of control, 214 sats, and this quarterly level, which has been huge, really important support. And this is like, you know, this is support resistance going back way, you know, 2018, literally 2018. You see, this is a very important level. If you're able to reclaim this, you know, so like, again, Digibyte starts ripping, let's say it gets listed on Coinbase or something like that, you know, and it starts getting pushed up, clear this quarterly level, you look up to your next quarterly, which again was big resistance right here before you got this big retracement down and this year-long consolidation. But again, if you want to write these levels down, quarterly level at 409, your macro value area high of the entire price action from 2014. This is a huge level. And then you also have a yearly level, which you get rarely do you see those populate, right? But this is a pretty big time level as well. But this is kind of what you would be looking for to the upside, would be these levels. Like, and you can see how swiftly price rose, right? Okay, so here price rose really fast. Here, once you kind of got back to this same point, right, price declined really quickly. So there's not a ton of support resistance that got built up along the way. So if you were to clear this key level, it wouldn't surprise me again if you moved up to the back to this region quickly. So that's kind of how it's been, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if this key level was reclaimed, that you would look, you know, you probably have a pretty nice move back up to retest these levels again. And then we could revisit this chart. I'll actually set an alert here. Just to kind of remind me, you know, if we do come back up here, come back and reassess and see where it is. But again, that's Digibyte. This video is mostly, again, just to give you the important levels to kind of keep an eye on. But, you know, you're sitting, again, I've said it probably 10 times now, but you're sitting on really important support for both pairings, the Bitcoin pairing and the dollar pairing. So if you lose that, obviously, like I think there's quite a bit of downside potentially, especially the Bitcoin pairing. But on the upside, you know, if you're able to kind of get going, I'm giving you the levels, like the really important levels to watch. That could be really nice take profits, for example. Not financial advice, but I just wanted to kind of jump on here. So, thought the chart looked interesting and point out some levels. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Trade safe out there.